Hi everyone, hope you're all having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some factors and some things that can affect your iron level and that can cause anemia. So I'm going to just go right through this video without doing any editing because I haven't had very much time to edit videos. My daughter is now almost 11 months old and I just can't get over that it's almost a year since she's been born, and I've been really focusing on her the last few months, and you know, it's just been such a beautiful journey, motherhood. I'm so grateful every day. That being said, I haven't had any time to edit, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't connected with you guys. But I just said, you know what, today I really want to touch base because I do read your comments, and so many of you have been commenting on the anemia videos and saying that you can relate and that you have the same symptoms, and so I just couldn't sit back anymore. So I apologize if this video is not perfectly edited. I just really wanted to touch base and sort of have a little bit of a talk. So it's been almost 1 year, well, it's been 11 months postpartum for me. Now, I actually, just to give you guys an update, I got my period back at the 9-month mark. Just checking if she's sleeping. I have the baby monitor here, so I'm just checking because my daughter is just sleeping right now. But I was surprised to get my period back 9 months after giving birth, because I assumed, because I'm still nursing full-time and I'm still breastfeeding quite often, that it would come a little bit later, but it did come back. And so I haven't recently had my iron checked, but because I wasn't bleeding for almost 2 years, the iron level was high, so it was really in a normal range for once in my entire life. And that's one of the benefits of being pregnant and nursing, is that you don't bleed for a while, and it was such a great break. But now that it's back every month, so I'm just sort of, my body's adjusting back into heavy periods, and not necessarily heavy, but you know, I think that it's just in a detox mode right now. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is food absorption. Now, I've done a few videos on iron and anemia, and I just wanted to say that, you know, everything works differently for everyone. So you can't do one thing, and if something works for someone, you can't expect it to work for you. Nutrient absorption is so important, so pay attention to the foods that you eat on a day-to-day basis, especially in the morning. What are some things that you're eating in the morning? Are you feeling good, or are you feeling really droggy after? Do you think it's giving you energy, or is it draining you? So really high carb foods, high sugar foods, we want to try and avoid that, and eat foods that contain a really good amount of iron. So oatmeal is a good option. It does contain iron. Chia seeds are a great source of iron and calcium. If you want me to do a separate video on specific foods or what I eat in a day video talking about the foods that we eat, let me know. Leave a comment in the comments below. But one cause of low iron and anemia can be that your body is not absorbing the foods. So what I would suggest is, just if you can't remember, take a piece of paper or a journal or a notebook and write down the foods that you eat on a day-to-day basis. Take a look at what are some of the things that you gravitate towards or that you're craving. And then if you feel like your energy is low all the time, are you craving high sugar foods, things that you're looking for more energy? How much water are you drinking? Are you drinking too much coffee? Coffee can interfere with absorption of nutrients. So food and the absorption of the nutrients from the food is really important, and that plays a big role in, you know, your iron levels and how you feel overall. So that's one thing that I would suggest, and that's what I started doing. And as soon as I started realizing, you know, I'm eating things that really don't do any good to my body, they don't do any good to the planet, they don't do any good to the animals, I really started to reevaluate, and that's when my levels started shifting. So you know, if you have any more questions on food absorption, leave a comment below, or I can do a complete separate video on that. Second factor is stress. So stress, if you find that you are stressed out, whether it's regarding work, family, school, friends, whatever it is, if you find that your body is always, or your thoughts are always thinking or worrying about things, your body is creating cortisol, and you're not in a natural, neutral state of mind. You're sort of always worrying and creating that unnecessary feeling of anxiety through your thoughts. But there is a misconception, and I am a huge believer that foods can also trigger symptoms of anxiety and symptoms where you feel a little bit out of control and lost and just really anxious. So again, it goes back to the food, but stress, try to be mindful every day. If you need to incorporate new habits in your day, like meditation or just taking some time for yourself. I know I'm having a hard time with that lately with the baby, but I do spend time, when she's sleeping, just closing my eyes and taking a few deep breaths and just being really, really grateful for the life that I have, and just, thinking even that there are people out there that have struggled through the same things that I have, and that you're not alone. I think that's the most important thing. When you're dealing with stress, sometimes you can feel like you're alone in it, but just know that you're not the only one, and other people have overcome those bumps, on your road. So it's important to identify the things that do make you worry. And again, I usually have a book, or I write it down. If there's anything that's going round and round in my head, I try to get it out on paper so it's not spinning in circles and I'm not feeling overwhelmed. My baby monitor is just dying right now, so 1 second. Okay, so I am back and the baby monitor is plugged in. So we talked about food absorption, stress, how those things can affect your iron level and your anemia, or cause anemia. The third thing is not dealing with issues or problems, or having situations or people or things in your life where you haven't fully forgiven or moved on. And I think that sometimes it's impossible not to have anything that you feel a little resentful for, or guilty, or whatever it is that may have happened that you're trying to think, oh, it's not fair, why did this happen to me, or why is this happening to someone else. But it's really important not to carry that emotional, I don't know what to call it, I guess, sort of guilt or anger or frustration, because again, you're holding that into your soul. You're carrying that within your heart, within your mind, your spirit. That's becoming a part of you. And it took me a long time to really come to terms with this, but you have to let go and forgive and not hold on to these emotions, because they will come through physical parts of your body. And for heavy bleeding, for low energy, if you think about it, when you're bleeding really hard and you're losing a lot of blood, you're draining. It's constant drain and releasing of it could be heavy issues that you're carrying. So really, this takes time. It's not something that takes 1 or 2 days. It can maybe for some people, but for me it really took a little bit of time to just accept the things and the events and the people in my life, and really reflect, take a breath, and forgive. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're forgiving the person directly or the situation or allowing things to happen again. You're just putting out that you are forgiving yourself, and you're allowing yourself to be free from the worries and the thoughts that come around that frustration or anger, whatever it is that you're carrying. It could be a situation that happened at school, with friends, at work, in your family, maybe tension between family members, or it could even be you're still grieving. You're grieving the loss of a family member, you're grieving the loss of a parent, Divorce can cause that feeling of grief. So these are things that, again, I'm a huge advocate of writing and writing things down. Find a book, go buy a really nice book that you really think is attractive or that you would enjoy writing in, with some blank pages inside, and just think about things that you need to forgive. And if you're not ready yet, that's fine. Maybe write them down. So again, there's a lot of writing involved, but I found this was extremely helpful. And I did notice a shift in my iron levels. It did help a little bit, so I do believe that these things are related to the body. Still sleeping. Good. Now the fourth thing is avoidance. So do you find yourself avoiding certain people, avoiding certain situations? Do you feel like, oh, I don't really want to confront or, you know, deal with that, maybe because you're afraid of something, you're scared of what will happen or what someone will say? You have to just, you can't live like this. So again, I'll use an example. When I was younger, I was very timid, and I was very afraid at times, so I would avoid certain situations so I wouldn't have to deal with it, because I was already handling quite a lot at an early age. But the best thing is face it. So whether it's a bill that you owe that you haven't quite dealt with and you're avoiding paying it off, if it's a debt, if it's a person, maybe you had a bit of a miscommunication and you're avoiding that person because you don't want to, you don't know what's going to happen. Be the bigger person and just go and, you know, face that person, face the debt, face the family member, whatever it is, and avoid avoiding, and handle and just do and deal with that situation in the best way that you can. It doesn't have to be the perfect way, but as long as you're making a step towards it. Again, otherwise you're carrying that emotion, and that can really take a strain and drain the body, and also drain the way you feel. And it can come out in a heavy period, it can come out in low iron, because your energy is being drained through that stress, that emotional stress. And the fifth thing is carrying someone else's issues. So if you are like me, I am very empathetic, and I really do empathize with a lot of people. I try to put myself in their shoes, and then sometimes I find that I am their issue or their problem. I take on that problem, and then I start to feel guilty because I can't fix them. Because we all want everyone to be happy in the world. We all want, you know, we don't want to see people suffering, or we don't like that feeling of helplessness. But it's important not to allow yourself to get too involved emotionally if there is someone close to you that is going through a hard time, or if you're being that caretaker or that person that they need to lean on, whether it's a friend, a family member, a parent, a co-worker, whatever it is. You have to also make sure that you take care of your energy, because that's something that is very easy, is to get emotionally involved with others and feel very guilty, and then you end up kind of almost stuck in that pattern. So in order to create a bit of a barrier, you have to, again, just make sure that all these other points that I talked about are in balance, and that will give you the strength to be able to confront or be able to manage other people when they need a shoulder to lean on, or when they need to talk about something, or, you know, help in whatever way. It's really important, and I did this for so many years. I sort of put myself last, and then I always ran around for others and tried to get others to be a certain way, or to help them, whether it's be organized or happy, to impress other people and family members, to try and cover that up. But now, I think now, as being a new mother, I finally just sort of relaxed with certain things and not let other people affect me as much as it did before. And I think that will help with the physical part of yourself. It will help not, you won't lose touch with who you are, and it will also decrease some of those physical things that are popping up. So those are some of the 5 things I wanted to talk about today. I hope it's useful. If you did find it useful, leave a comment in the comments below. Like I said, I love reading all your comments, and I do the best I can to respond to them. But these are some things that I really never, well, I guess I talked a little bit about it, but there's not a lot of content out there that can really relate to anemia, low iron, and maybe the emotional part of yourself. So I hope that these are things that you can think about. Again, get out there, get the book, start writing, and thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful for all your comments, all your support. If you have any other questions around anemia, low iron, or anything that I talked about today, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!